Thanks for watching Bruins 360. I'm Emily Lewandowski. This past Friday night, the Bruins basketball teams played Warren Wilson College, and both the men's and women's teams came away with victories. 360 reporter Bethany Williams has a recap of the games.
The Bruins were back in action against the Warren Wilson College Owls on Friday night after taking a small break due to extreme weather conditions. In the women's game, the lead quickly changed back and forth during the opening minutes. The Bruins finally found their momentum and hit 5 3-point shots and forced 11 turnovers in the first half. Leading 30-22 out of the half, the Bruins battled with the Owls to keep their double-digit lead. The Owls powered back to keep the score within 5, but the Bruins went on a 9-0 run behind a 3-pointer from Maggie Ford and a 3-point play from Hannah Tompkins. The Bruins took the win 58-44. Kendra Jeffcott led scoring for the Bruins with 12 points, and Kim Speaker and Maggie Ford each contributed 9. The men's game followed, and the Bruins quickly jumped to a 9-0 lead. Darnell Antoine scored 9 points in the first half as the Bruins built their lead, and Zach Mercado was on fire in the first half from 3-point range with 13 points. Entering the half with only a 9-point deficit, the Owls cut further into the Bruins' lead. With a 3-point shot by Evan Brondike, the Bruins worked to rebuild their lead. Later in the game, the Bruins hit back-to-back threes from Evan Brondike and Zach Mercado to increase their lead to 13 points. The Bruins beat the Owls 76-65. For Bruins 360, I'm Bethany Williams.
Thanks, Bethany. On Thursday, February 20th, the Bruins are hosting a Red Out event in partnership with the American Heart Association. Johnny Gamet is in the studio with special guest Andrew Wingreen to talk about the event. Johnny?
Thanks, Emily. I'm here with Andrew Wingreen, the men's basketball assistant coach, and we're going to be talking about the Red Out event that we're coming up in partnership with the American Heart Association. Now, Andrew, I know that heart disease and different things like that are very near and dear to you because you experienced it. At a young age, you were given the news that that your heart, that you had a special disease. What was that?
Yeah, when I was 4 years old, went to the doctor appointment for a simple ear infection, and the doctors heard a heart murmur and kind of got a little bit concerned about it. So did some further tests on that and realized I had a heart valve problem with my tricuspid valve. So it didn't really bother me a whole lot until I was about 7th or 8th grade, and then I started having rapid heart rates. My heart would get up to, sometimes excess of 300 beats per minute, and just got to the point where I couldn't even stop it. I'd be playing baseball or playing basketball, and it would just kind of get to that next level of beats per minute, and I would lay upside down on the couch, do whatever I could, but wasn't able to stop it. So had to go to the emergency room quite a bit, and they would have to inject me with some medicine to get that heart rate down. And it just got to the point where the doctors, were like, we can't have this go on anymore, so I had to have open heart surgery. So in April of 2003, I went to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota and had open heart surgery to fix my tricuspid valve. And during that surgery, the valve didn't really respond as well as it should have, so they went in a second time and replaced it with an artificial pig valve. And during that surgery, there were some complications and sent my heart into a lot of bad rhythms, I guess, to simplify it for everyone. But I had to have a pacemaker put in after that for a third surgery, and just, had a hard time afterwards recovering, but, praise God, made it through it, and that's kind of the story in a nutshell.
Well, talk to me about some of the things that you were feeling, especially as you mentioned you really love sports from a young age, and then to hear the news you're not going to be able to play like the other kids or have the same kind of endurance and stamina that the other kids had. Yeah. What are some of the thoughts that kind of went through your head when you got that news?
Yeah, well, it was hard because, growing up, that it was my love was sports in general. Just anything from baseball, golf, basketball was my favorite, and I was fairly good at those sports. And having the heart surgery, going into it, I didn't think it was really going to affect me. I thought I'd recover from it and just be back at a normal pace playing and all that stuff. But because of the complications, they told me I couldn't play, and that was really hard. Initially, I got really bitter at God, got mad at my parents, got mad at friends, family, just had an overall bitterness towards life, and it was kind of a discouraging time. But over the next couple of years, just reading some books and having some people just talk to me about it, and really just kind of opening my eyes to see how God could still use my love for the game of basketball in a different aspect, from playing, but just to be a coach and God really opened my heart and my eyes to coaching, and that's you know, it really brought a lot of positive things into my life, and you know, brought me here. So
talk to me about the coaching aspect of it. When did the light kind of click on for you that, you know, I'm not going to be able to play, but I can still use that love in coaching?
Yeah. Well, luckily enough for me, a lot of my family members are coaches. Mm-hmm. My uncles coach basketball, high school basketball, and my aunt actually coached basketball too. So I just come from, you know, a bloodline of coaches, and I'm around it a lot. So I knew it was an option in my life. I knew that was something that I could do. But my aunt actually bought me a book, Wooden. Mm-hmm. It was by John Wooden, and I'm sure every coach has read it. But that book just really opened my eyes to, man, this is a guy who just has impacted people's lives for something bigger than wins, losses, and, you know, fame. He really touched people's lives for the greater good of themselves and you know, ultimately for Jesus. And that was something I really wanted to do. And God opened my heart to, man, Andrew, you got to coach basketball, and you can impact kids' lives, and you can use your heart disease to really influence them, especially kids who you know, are going through a medical issue or a heart disease in particular. But that was kind of the eye-opening experience for me, was reading that book by John Wooden, and you know, God used that in my life.
Talk a little bit about the ways that you use, you know, you mentioned in interacting with your players, you know, somebody might have a hard game or something like that. How do you use your experience of what you've gone through to you know, disciple them and mentor them?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't even have to be about my heart issue, but just overcoming adversity, overcoming challenges. Mm-hmm. You know, something as simple as losing a game or getting a bad grade on a test is, you know, minor challenges, small issues in a kid's life, but just having the experience of going through something, you know, as challenging as a heart disease and, you know, a bad surgery that kind of, you know, changed your life, and it really changed mine. So that experience of just overcoming hard times and knowing that God does put things in your life, and you know, it's not always easy, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there is something good that's going to happen from it. And just kind of knowing where I was and where God brought me and how He showed me things, I think that gives, you know, a positive influence on kids when I can say, hey, it's not good now, but you know, God's going to use it somehow in your life. So.
Well, that's Andrew Wingreen of the men's basketball team. Thanks so much, Coach, for joining us today. Reminder again, the Red Out event in partnership with the American Heart Association. Join us. We have Red Out t-shirts for $7, so you can stop by the athletics office and purchase those, or we'll have them at the game as well. Emily, back to you.
The Red Out is coming up this Thursday night at 7 p.m. when the men's basketball team will be playing Johnson & Wales University. So come on out and cheer on your BJU Bruins. You can follow the Bruins for the rest of the season at bjubruins.com. Also, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Thanks again for watching Bruins 360.